Fake news, the dark side of Gemini. Right now, the proliferation of fake news is distinctly dark side Gemini. Half-truths, double talk, disjointed talking points, superficial knowledge of a subject, out-of-context phrasing, fictional narratives, sins of omission, and outright deception. The travesty is intentional disinfo posing as truth. And so many political surrogates use smart words like conflate, ad hominem, to deflect from the fact that they are paid liars. We are all living like Geminis to some degree with our multiple electronic devices and platforms, not only in our addiction to gossip and comparisons, but also in our creating fake or enhanced personas through our Instagram and Facebook accounts. Twitter, with its platform limit of 144 characters, forces most people to come up with very simplistic statements. For a few gifted individuals, it's a wonderfully succinct format. The pithy Oscar Wilde would have been in his element. But for those without intelligence, perspective, or sense of humor, the reduction of characters leads to a reduction in thinking. Many politicians are Geminis or Gemini rising. They include Mike Pence, Marco Rubio, Newt Gingrich, Henry Kissinger, Hillary Clinton, Gemini rising, and Gemini extraordinaire, Donald Trump. There is usually a gift with words, except when the Gemini archetype is debilitated, as it is with Trump. But even if his actual statements are infantile, the message has been powerfully transmitted to those with ears to hear, while the rest of us shake our heads in disbelief. It serves a mercenary politician to speak out of two sides of his mouth, and this is where the infamous Gemini two-facedness comes into play. Superficial thinking rather than serious considered discourse can be a mark of Gemini. There can be a cleverness of the mind and facility with words, which is why so many people with a strong Gemini signature are in marketing professions. And what greater PR marketing platform than the selling of candidates and ideologies via television or the internet? When Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, or Pluto contact a Gemini planet in a chart, there can be depression, mental illness, mean-spiritedness, or bipolarity. Our president has Uranus conjunct his late-degree Gemini sun, which suggests ADD, a split personality, and fractured mental state. As previously mentioned, it may seem odd for a sign that is so well known for fluency and cleverness that his grasp of language is so limited. But with Uranus, electrical impulses, mental twitches, glitches, impulsivity, he cannot maintain attention or consistency to craft a solid narrative. Mental illness or cognitive impairment are also the result of a challenged Gemini signature. Self-knowledge is the goal of a mature individual, but for those who fail to do the inquiry, they revel in projection and duality, also a Gemini characteristic. As always, this is particularly true of politicians and or religious leaders. Whatever they are lying about or accusing others of, they are likely to be the ones who are actually doing it. Trump's crooked Hillary statement, the election was rigged, prove in fact that he was crooked and the election was rigged. Why the assault on truth? Primarily to create confusion and fracturing as people united would rise up against an actual oppressor. It is hard to get one's bearings when reality shifts beneath your feet from day to day. If everything is morally equivalent, then nothing is ultimately true. And this creates cognitive dissonance to those who are actually trying to follow a clear path and lead a conscientious life. The Tower of Babel story illustrates the division that happens when people do not speak the same language. In this biblical account, God saw that all people were in unison in attempting to build a tower to the heavens. This would mean they could reach some form of ascension and power. Most fundamentalist types would interpret this fable as a punishment for human pride. Once again, I believe that patriarchy manipulated and created this symbolic story as a warning to prevent attempts for power and the questioning of their authority. Nowadays, despite reduced literacy and so much obscuring of the truth, most people know when they are being lied to. One of the reasons why people are so sick of the media and politicians are because they grasp that these public figures are simply actors on a world stage. The global storyline is being directed from a more hidden power center, and depending on your favorite conspiracy theory, this can include the government, the deep state, the Illuminati, the Vatican, the liberal media, Hollywood, aliens, or the global elite. Even conspiracy theorists themselves are being unmasked. Case in point, media provocateur Alex Jones, now claiming for legal reasons to be a performance artist, has more likely been posing as a conspiracy theorist to distract from his Mossad ties. He is an actor for sure, but who is his real agent? Disinformation has been the method of controlling the masses for millennia, and generally it is first disseminated through religion, which then props up a political system. As humans have always sought God or the truth, it is through spiritual leaders that the greatest brainwashing has occurred. If we want a different world and a different outcome, we must choose to use discernment and discrimination in vetting the information spewed at us. And besides false flags and undemocratically elected leaders, we must look at the larger lies of economics, equality for all, the police serve the people, and anyone can achieve the American dream while existing in this current system. Because we live in a dualistic world, every sign has a positive side, and this is how we antidote its destructive nature. Gemini is about curiosity to connect to the world around us. It is about seeing oneself in the other. In its highest form, an immersion into the Gemini archetype would reveal that we are all brothers and sisters, side by side, trying to get by in life and grow up. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is also the place where the positive focus of language and thought can bring dreams into form. The Magician card in the Tarot is one archetype that we all have access to. It illustrates our capacity to manifest reality via focused intention. Like good and curious Gemini students, it would behoove us to learn and practice the power of our intentions to create new and healthy thought forms for our world. This way we will not be distracted into remaining spiritual children and lost adults who can't tell fact from fiction. The real fake news is the notion that we are powerless and must submit to liars, cheaters, and swindlers as the way of the world. That is disinfo. Once we are clear that light and awareness are more powerful than any darkness, we can put an end to this tragic comedy we are living in and throw this current news cycle into the dustbin of a sad and misappropriated history. I'm Met Astrologer Patrice Kamens.